If being acutely ill for 13 weeks in hospital doesn't count as an exceptional circumstance, then what does? Today, I want to share with you the shocking case of a Canadian academic, Dr. Heather Scott, who has lived in Britain since 2011 and is now facing a possible ban from the UK because she missed her visa renewal while critically unwell. The Home Office has said her situation does not meet the bar for exceptional circumstances. That's the starting point, but as you'll see, this story has much bigger implications. Welcome to UK Immigration Express. This is where we break down the rules, the real cases, and the decisions that could impact you, your family, and your future. If you find value in this kind of content, please like this video so YouTube recommends it to others and subscribe with the notification bell on so you never miss an update. Dr. Heather Scott is a highly respected researcher whose academic focus is Victorian cemeteries, places like Highgate, Brompton, and Abney Park. Her work is tied directly to London, and she has been based here for more than a decade. She first arrived in 2011 on a student visa and successfully renewed her visa 7 times. Everything was in order until 2022, when she suffered a devastating mental health crisis. She was hospitalized for 13 weeks. During that time, she was so unwell, she simply could not engage with the visa renewal process. When her family in Canada finally stepped in to help, they managed to submit her application, but by then, she had already overstayed for 46 days. From that moment, the difficulties began. For 3 years, she has tried to resolve her visa situation, submitting extensive medical evidence, explaining her circumstances, and demonstrating that she had been in the country lawfully for over a decade before this crisis. In 2024, she applied again for leave to remain, but the Home Office refused, saying she was now medically stable and could return to Canada. She has lodged a human rights appeal, but if it fails, she faces a ban from the UK. Imagine the stress, rebuilding your health, resuming your academic work, and at the same time fighting a system that doesn't recognize the reality of what happened. In its refusal letter, the Home Office wrote that indefinite leave to remain is a privilege, not an automatic entitlement. They said that simply wanting to live in the UK is not an exceptional circumstance. And most shockingly, they argued that even being acutely ill to the point of hospitalization did not amount to an exceptional circumstance either. Her solicitor, Muthanten Paramesvaran of Wilson Solicitors, strongly disagrees. He argues that this is an exceptional case. 10 years of lawful residence, clear evidence of serious illness, and a proven contribution to the UK's academic and research community. He points out that but for this health crisis, she would likely have taken the Life in the UK test and secured indefinite leave to remain by now. He also reminds us that the Home Office has the discretion to grant leave outside the rules in cases with compelling compassionate factors. The refusal to exercise that discretion here has, in his words, devastated her life. So let's step back. What are the rules, and what lessons does this story hold for others living here on visas? In UK immigration, there are 3 key concepts that shape cases like this: overstaying, exceptional circumstances, and discretion. First, overstaying. Under immigration rules, there is a provision known as paragraph 39E. This allows late applications to be considered if they are submitted within 14 days of a visa expiring, but only if you have a good reason for missing the deadline. Outside that 14-day window, the rule is clear. Applications are usually invalid, and overstaying can carry serious consequences. Dr. Scott's application was late by 46 days, far beyond the allowed period. Second, exceptional circumstances. This phrase comes up often in the context of family and private life cases under Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights. It's not about whether something is sad or sympathetic. It's a legal test. It means refusal would cause consequences so unjustifiably harsh that they outweigh the public interest in immigration control. The bar is very high, and many applicants are told their situation doesn't meet it. Third, discretion. The Home Office does have the power to grant leave outside the rules on compelling compassionate grounds. This is called leave outside the rules, or LOTR, but it is discretionary, used rarely, and requires very strong supporting evidence. This is the channel through which her case could have been resolved, but officials chose not to exercise it. When you put these three concepts side by side with Heather Scott's facts, you can see the controversy. She overstayed beyond the strict 14 days, which normally closes the door, but the reason, serious, medically proven illness, is exactly the kind of situation most people assume discretion exists to cover. The Home Office has chosen to stick to the letter of the rule rather than the spirit of compassion, which is why this case has caught so much attention. Supporters argue this approach directly contradicts the government's stated aim of attracting and retaining highly skilled professionals. They point out that punishing someone for being sick sends the wrong message about how Britain treats people with mental health conditions. The Home Office, meanwhile, insists that all applications are considered individually and indefinite leave to remain is never automatic. What does this mean for you? If you are on a skilled worker visa, a health and care visa, a student visa, or any other route, you need to be aware that emergencies don't pause the immigration clock. You must know your visa expiration date, set reminders months in advance, and make sure you act early. If something goes wrong, document every detail. Hospital admission letters, GP records, discharge papers, collect it all, and make sure it clearly links your condition to your inability to apply. If you do miss the deadline, that 14-day 39E window can be the difference between having your case considered or being refused outright. It's also critical to get proper advice quickly. A regulated immigration advisor or solicitor can guide you on whether to argue under the rules, through human rights grounds, or for leave outside the rules. Long residence is another angle. After 10 years of lawful stay, there are pathways to settlement, but you need to be precise about meeting the requirements in Appendix Long Residence, which was updated in 2024. The lesson here is sobering. Mental health is health. Illness can hit anyone at any time. But unless you can fit the exact rules and deadlines, the system may not automatically recognize your circumstances. The Home Office has discretion to help, but they do not always use it. And when they don't, the consequences can be life-changing. Dr. Scott's case is still ongoing. She has appealed on human rights grounds, arguing that the consequences of refusal are unjustifiably harsh given her history and contributions. Whether the tribunal will agree is uncertain. But the broader point is clear. If you are living in the UK on a visa, don't assume that sympathy or common sense will prevail if you fall outside the strict deadlines. Build safeguards into your life now, and if you ever find yourself in a crisis, act as fast as possible, get representation, and gather evidence. This story raises a big question. Should being hospitalized for 3 months, clearly unable to function, count as an exceptional circumstance? Most of us would say yes, but the Home Office has said no. That disconnect is at the heart of this debate. So, what do you think? Should being acutely ill count as exceptional? Should the rules make more room for compassion? Or is the system right to hold the line strictly, even in such cases? Share your views in the comments. I want to hear your perspective. This has been UK Immigration Express. If you found this breakdown useful, hit the like button so more people who need to hear this can find it. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And if you're living in the UK on a visa, keep your documents in order, stay ahead of your deadlines, and protect yourself and your family from unnecessary risks.